Do I need to register my drone to post drone footage on YouTube? Drones right now are getting very popular. It seems like everyone's interested in drones and owning a drone, flying a drone, pretty much anything drones. If you talk to people, most people are kind of getting interested in drones. Maybe you yourself even picked one up. You wanted to add some epic shots to some of your YouTube videos or other social media. And now you're wondering what laws you need to follow in order to operate, within the parameters of the law. So in this video, we're going to break down the differences between recreationally flying a drone and commercially flying a drone, otherwise known as Part 107. We're going to break it down so that by the end of this video, you should have a good understanding of which of the two categories you're going to fall into and any steps that you might need to take to make sure that you're operating within the rules and the laws. So a little while back, I posted a video. It was on this right here. This is the DJI Mini 2. Awesome drone. Powerful. I really love this thing. So I posted a video on that. I received some good feedback, got some comments and whatnot. Some people talking about I need to get a Part 107 certification in order to be able to post these videos on YouTube from my drone. And I was kind of like, what? What are you talking about? Because, so much you hear about drones being under 250 grams. And if they're under 250 grams, you don't need to register them. So I was like, all right, I got a drone here. It's under 250 grams. So I don't need to register it. So that should be it, right? Well, not quite. There's actually a lot more to it. I started doing some research, finding some things out. And in this video, I'm going to share with you what those findings are. I've definitely learned a lot in my research, and happy to the people who pointed out to me in my other video about this 107 certification. Because honestly, I probably might not have known if they didn't bring it to my attention. So we're going to go through the two and help you understand the two also. Sorry, just making sure that this is working right. So we're going to come over here to the FAA website. This is the official website, FAA.gov. They got a nice section all dedicated to drones here. Unmanned Aircraft Systems, UAS. This is kind of the landing page for drones for the FAA here. What type of drone flyer are you? They have a little test you can take. And we'll come here to the Getting Started tab. Congratulations on your new drone. Whether you're a novice drone pilot or have many years of aviation experience, rules and safety tips exist to help you fly safely in the National Airspace System, NAS. Use this guide to help you understand which rules you'll need to follow when you fly your drone. And here they have the two main categories that most of us will be operating under. It's going to either be recreational or certificated remote pilot. So we'll start here with the recreational flyer. If you fly for fun and personal enjoyment or as an educational institution, you must learn the rules for recreational flyers, take the recreational UAS safety test, register drones greater than 0.55 pounds at FAA Drone Zone, and 0.55 pounds is 250 grams. Okay, so we'll start right here. Learn the rules for recreational flyers. There's some really good information in this section right here. Recreational flyers and modeler community-based organizations. The rule for operating unmanned aircraft systems, UAS, or drones under 55 pounds in the National Airspace System, NAS, is 14 CFR Part 107, referred to as the Small UAS Rule. However, if you want to fly a drone for purely recreational purposes, there is a limited statutory exception, carve-out, that provides a basic set of requirements. So what this is saying right here is that by default, anyone who's flying a drone is going to be operating under Part 107. Okay, and if you want to operate recreationally, there's going to be a small exception. There's a small exception made for people who want to fly their drone recreationally. But by default, you're already under Part 107. The recreational UAS safety test or trust is available. Recreational flyers are encouraged to take and pass trust at their earliest opportunity and carry proof of passage when flying. Get this out of here. All right, so that's a test that you need to take and pass in order to fly recreationally. What is a recreational flight? And I think that these two paragraphs right here are really important to differentiating recreational flight from commercial flights. So, many people assume that a recreational flight is one that is not operated for a business or any form of compensation, but that's not always the case. Financial compensation or the lack of it is not what determines if the flight is recreational or commercial. So that's important. Financial compensation or the lack of it is not what determines if a flight is recreational or commercial. So just because you're not specifically making any money from your drone footage does not automatically mean that it's recreational. The following information can be used to help you determine what rules you should be operating under. Remember, the default regulation for drones weighing under 55 pounds is Part 107. So here they say it again. The default regulation for drones weighing under 55 pounds is Part 107. The exception, so it's going to be an exception for recreational flyers. The exception for recreational flyers only applies to flights that are purely for fun or personal enjoyment. When in doubt, fly under Part 107. So, by default, it's 107. There's a small exception for recreational flyers. And if you have any doubt as to which category you need to be flying under, play it safe and fly under Part 107 rules. Note, non-recreational purposes include things like taking photos to help sell a property or service, roof inspections, or taking pictures of a high school football game for the school's website. Goodwill or other non-monetary value can also be considered indirect compensation. I think that's important right here. Goodwill or other non-monetary value can also be considered indirect compensation. This would include things like volunteering to use your drone to survey coastlines on behalf of a nonprofit organization. Recreational flight is simply flying for fun or personal enjoyment. Okay. Let me see. So how I think this ties into YouTube in particular. So when you're using the drone footage to post on YouTube, that could be considered you're promoting your channel, because the ultimate goal for most people, is to grow their channel, get more subscribers, get more viewers, and ultimately be able to monetize their channel and make money for it. So I think that if you're posting drone footage on YouTube, you should definitely be operating under the 107 rules. Okay. And here, what are the rules for recreational flyers? So if you think that you're only going to be flying recreationally, these are going to be your rules. We'll go over them real quick. The exception for limited operation of unmanned aircraft is the law that describes how, when, and where you can fly drones for recreational purposes. Following these rules will keep people, your drone, and our airspace safe. Number 1, fly only for recreational purposes, enjoyment. So how many times have they already said that? To be considered recreational, it needs to be purely for enjoyment or the fun of it. Pretty much flying your drone just for fun, just because you like to fly it. Follow the safety guidelines of an FAA recognized community-based organization. Keep your drone within the visual line of sight or use a visual observer who is co-located physically next to and in direct communication with you. Give way to and do not interfere with manned aircraft. By the way, this one's an important one. Never fly your drone out of your sight. Okay, these two are talking about Flying below 400 feet, that's another important rule. Definitely want to be flying under 400 feet. Take the recreational UAS safety test, trust, and carry proof of test passage. So that's one of the main requirements for flying recreationally. You need to take this trust training and carry proof of it with you. Have a current registration. Mark your drones on the outside with the registration number and carry proof of registration with you. Do not operate your drone in a dangerous manner. For example, do not interfere with emergency response or law enforcement activities. Do not fly under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Individuals violating any of these rules and or operating in a dangerous manner may be subject to FAA enforcement action. All right, so none of us wants that. So those are going to be your basic rules right here for flying a drone recreationally. Alrighty, we're going to come back here. Take the recreational UAS safety test. We'll go here. The recreational UAS safety test. Sorry. All recreational flyers must pass an aeronautical knowledge and safety test and provide proof of test passage, the trust completion certificate, to the FAA or law enforcement upon request. The FAA's 2018 reauthorization bill introduced new requirements for recreational pilots. So here it's pretty much saying, if you're flying, if the FAA, hopefully not, right? Hopefully the FAA doesn't roll up on any of us and ask to see our certificates, but if they do, or if law enforcement does, you need to be able to provide them with that. What is a recreational flyer? A recreational flyer is someone who operates their drone for fun or personal enjoyment purposes only. Once again, purely for the fun of it and the enjoyment of it. Here we have how to fly a drone recreationally. Pretty simple. First thing you got to do is pass the trust training. And if your drone weighs more than 0.55 pounds, once again, 250 grams, register your drone through the FAA's drone zone, and then follow the safety guidelines on the FAA website, or pretty much those rules that we went over on the last page. So if you have one of these minis, Mini 2, Mavic Mini, something like that, and you're flying recreationally, all you have to do is take this trust training, carry that with you, and you don't have to register your drone, and as long as you're following the rules, you're going to be good. Okay, so flying recreationally is pretty simple. Not too much to it. And if you have a bigger drone, you'll just have to register it. You can do it online right here. FAA Drone Zone is where you can do that. In June 2021, the FAA announced the following entities as FAA approved test administrators of trust. So right here, they have a list of everywhere where you can take the trust training. Definitely come here and take it from one of these places. It's a free training, so if you go anywhere and they try to charge you money, get out of there. It's probably a scam. Okay. What is trust? Trust is a recreational UAS safety test. It provides education and testing for recreational flyers on important safety and regulatory information. If you fly your drone recreationally under the exception for recreational flyers, you must pass this test before you fly. So once again, saying that you have to pass this test or training before you can fly. How can I take the trust? You may take the free online test through any of the approved test administrators listed above. How does the trust work? The FAA provides education and testing content to FAA-approved test administrators of trust, who in turn provide the content to recreational flyers for free. The trust is divided into two sections. The first section provides you with the information needed to pass the test. The second section is a series of multiple choice questions. You cannot fail the test. If you answer a question incorrectly, you'll be provided with information on why the answer you chose was incorrect and will be prompted to try again. Upon completion of the trust, you'll receive a completion certificate. The certificate never expires. However, if you lose your certificate, you will need to retake the test and obtain a new certificate. Neither the test administrator nor the FAA will maintain personally identifiable information about the recreational flyer, so it is not possible to reprint or reissue your original certificate. So, pretty much saying that you can't fail this training. If there's something that you're not getting, you get some questions wrong, they're just going to give you some extra training and let you re-answer the question. So if you're considering yourself a recreational flyer and that's what you want to do, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is take that trust training, register your drone if it's over 250 grams. If not, you don't have to do that, and operate within those parameters and you'll be good. So coming back, now we're going to go over here to the certificated remote pilot. If you fly for commercial, government, or any other non-recreational purposes, you must learn the rules for remote pilots, Part 107, become a certificated remote pilot, register all drones less than 55 pounds at FAA drone zone. Okay. If you have a small drone that is less than 55 pounds, you can fly for work or business by following the Part 107 guidelines. To fly under Part 107 rules, there are 3 main steps. Step 1, learn the rules. Make sure you understand what is and is not allowed under Part 107 rules. 14 CFR Part 107, Small Unmanned Aircraft Systems. And right here's all the rules. Scroll through them. I'm not going to read all these. But as you can see, it's a lot more that you need to know when operating under Part 107. Definitely more in depth than the recreational. If you're not sure if Part 107 rules work for you and your intended operation, check our user identification tool. And here they're saying some operations not covered by Part 107 that require a waiver right there. Step 2, become an FAA certified drone pilot by passing the knowledge test. To be eligible to get your remote pilot certificate, you must be at least 16 years old, able to read, write, speak, and understand English, be in a physical and mental condition to safely fly a UAS. Study for the knowledge test. Review knowledge test suggested study materials provided by the FAA. So here they give you some stuff that you can study for your test with, all right here for free. And I know there's paid training that you can take. So you have some different options to go about studying for this test. And you definitely do need to study for this test. Okay, once you think that you've studied, you know enough to be able to pass the test, then you need to obtain an FAA tracking number. You need to create an integrated airman certification and rating application profile prior to registering for your knowledge test. So create that profile first, schedule an appointment, take the knowledge test at an FAA approved knowledge testing center, which I'm sure they list some here on this link. After you pass the test, for a remote pilot certificate, log in the FAA Integrated Airman Certificate and or Rating Application System to complete FAA Form 8710-13. And you can review the full process to get your remote pilot certificate here. Then register your drone with the FAA. Registration costs $5 and is valid for 3 years. You'll need a credit or debit card and the make and model of your drone handy in order to register. Alrighty, if we come here, they have the process here to become a drone pilot. In order to fly your drone under the FAA Small UAS Rule, Part 107, you must obtain a remote pilot certificate from the FAA. This certificate demonstrates that you understand the regulations, operating requirements, and procedures for safely flying drones. First-time pilots. Eligibility to become a pilot, you must be at least 16 years old, be able to read, write, speak, and understand English, be in a physical and mental condition to safely fly a drone, pass the initial aeronautical knowledge exam. And here it's pretty much walking you through the process again to become a Part 107 licensed flyer here. Same thing, obtain that tracking number, schedule your appointment, pass the test, and here's some of the stuff that the test is going to be on. Applicable regulations relating to small unmanned aircraft system rating privileges, limitations, and flight operation, airspace classification and operating requirements, and flight restrictions affecting small unmanned aircraft operation. Aviation weather sources and effects of weather on small unmanned aircraft performance, small unmanned aircraft loading and performance, emergency procedures, crew resource management, radio communication procedures, determining the performance of small unmanned aircraft, physiological effects of drug and alcohol, aeronautical decision-making and judgment, airport operations, maintenance and pre-flight inspection procedures, operation at night. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that you need to know to operate under Part 107. You're definitely going to need to study for the test, and once you do pass the test, you'll have a really good knowledge of flying a drone, things to look out for, and what you need to do to make sure that you're doing it properly. Once you pass the test, complete the FAA Form 8710-13, like they said before. They're pretty much walking you through that here. Okay. And then register all drones less than 55 pounds at the FAA drone zone. So if you're operating under Part 107, all drones must be registered no matter what. Alrighty. And this is the drone zone. When you want to register your drone, you can come here and you're going to pick if you're flying under 107 or if you're flying under the exception for recreational flyers, and you can register your drones online. Alrighty. So the Part 107 is definitely more in depth. You're definitely going to need to study, probably be a different amount of studying for different people, but the test costs, I think it's $150 to $170, and if you fail it, you have to pay that again to take the test. So you definitely want to try to pass the test on the first try if you can. So if you're going to be operating under Part 107, you just have to pass that test, go through those steps that we went through, and then register your drone, and you'll be good to go. So hopefully this video has given you a better understanding of the differences between operating a drone recreationally and operating a drone commercially, and the steps that you need to take depending on which category that you think you're going to fall into. Me personally, like I said, I want to use my drone shots in my videos. Therefore, I'm going to be starting the process to get my Part 107 license. And I plan to keep you guys updated on the channel as I work through that process to hopefully eventually get my certification Part 107 so that I know that I'm protected and I can post my drone videos here on the YouTube channel without having to worry about it at all. And I think that's going to wrap this one up, guys. If you got any value from this video, if it helped you out at all, drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. And I'm going to be getting out of here. Have a good one.